Let's get this week's video started with a little bit of work on my new giant 70-inch Disney Nautilus. Now, Subfest is coming up in basically a week and a half. I've just got a few days left to get everything done that I need to get done to get my personal fleet going, get packed up and ready to go. I want to bring the Nautilus. Let's take a look at what I want to do. So this is the Nautilus. You guys saw a preview of this in my last video. This has some really unique features. This is the first time I've really dug deep into this boat. Flip this open. I took the flotation foam out of the upper hull. And what we've got going on here, this is the intake for the ballast system that runs up to the top of the wheelhouse, which is perfect. And then we've got some, like, kind of cheesy LED lights going on here. Now, I might try them and see. These are supposedly green LEDs. I've not had a chance to get them functional. They did not work last time I brought it out. I think this is a voltage transformer. They put lights in like the scoops. That's going away. That's just not. It's just not. They also had lights running to the ram tip, which that is not happening either. So we'll be able to do away with a lot of this wiring, simplify things, clean things up. So I think what we're going to do is start by seeing what's going on in the wheelhouse. This is a dry compartment. It's dry. Whoa, whoa. Cool, but potentially, like, not good. I'm going to pop all this off, pull it out, and maybe look at cleaning up the wheelhouse windows, which are a little frosty. And there's a weird Nemo in there with a cocked up ship's wheel. All of these old cheesy LEDs are going to come out, and we're going to replace them with proper LEDs where it makes sense to put them. So let's start by popping this open and seeing what we've got to work with in there. The other thing that we're going to be doing is cutting off these sections that are behind the salon windows. I love this amber glass. I think it was clear at one time, but it's kind of frosted now. It makes this thing look really antique. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. So, but this is, again, a dry compartment in here on both sides. And he's got, you can't see it, vaguely you can, like a settee picture mounted in there. So maybe we'll pop that off and put a real set. Well, you can't see it anyway. Maybe we'll just put some cool lights back there. And then the other thing, when we had it out and running, she would not dive. Now the Nautilus likes to dive on its own. It'll suck down, but you have no pitch control whatsoever. These dive planes are stupidly placed. They're too close to the center of the boat. They're in a turbulent area behind the salon window. They do nothing other than look super cool when you move them. You can see they're all hooked up. Trim tabs, forward planes, stern planes are all hooked up together on the same linkage here. Lastly, second lastly, what we're going to do is add a rudder extension. So we're going to cock this rudder over, slit it in the back, put a clear extension, and that'll really tighten up our turning. And then last but not least, we are going to pull out the old low frequency radio and put in one of our new tandem 2.4/900 radios. Lots to do, just a little time to do it. Let's dig in. Okay, this is the situation that we got going on there. This is an entirely dry compartment, but it was leaking. There was condensation that was forming on the inside of the windows there. I typically do not run dry wheelhouses. I should back up. I never run dry wheelhouses. It creates a lot of trimming issues. Not super awesome. So what do we got in there? We got some LED lights hiding in the alligator eyes, which is cool. Gonna pull them out because they're green. Weird. And a white incandescent bulb in the front there. Hopefully these are running off of 12 volts, in which case I can just tap power and then run LEDs right from here using the existing wire. And this is the wheelhouse interior. How cool! Look at that. You can't even see it through those cloudy windows though. This is twisted for some strange... Oh, there we go. Fixed it. There's Nemo. So, I gotta figure out what we're gonna do. Should I frost these? You know? Or replace the domes? I don't know. Those fit really good. I wonder if I can clean them up. Here, you can see the water in there. Water droplets. Regardless, it's going to be free flooding. There's no reason that we need to go with a sealed unit in there, which means I'm going to have to add some flotation above the water line, you know, in this area here to compensate for this flotative area. Let's yank. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll grab some power. Let's put some power to this thing and see. Again, I couldn't get it to work. Well, let's test this and we'll see if we got power coming out of these leads. And if so, where it's stopping before it's getting to all these lights. All right, got some power going. It's a 3-lead, and there's 3 wires coming out, but I don't know. I don't really understand where they all go. Oh, I see. They split off into 2. I don't know. The lights in the wheelhouse are super, super dim, like really dim. And the one in the back of the wheelhouse isn't even working. This all needs to get redone. So, I got to decide whether I want to take these green LED lights out. I don't know. They seem a little cheesy to me. Let's flip this thing over and see what it looks like from the top. So, I mean, I guess what he wanted was for the lights to come out of the scuppers. I don't know. It's kind of cool. Obviously, it wouldn't be in the wheelhouse because, you know, we're going to put that floor back in there. And it comes up through the grating here, too. I don't know. Turn off some lights. Trying to get a better idea. Well, it's kind of cool. I guess. I mean, I guess they're in there. Doesn't hurt to keep them on, I guess. All right. Okay. Fine. So, I've extracted all the lights. Let's take a look. A little cleaner in here. And then I figured out that the third pin, they have it split. They've got the one 12-volt lead running to the green scupper lights, and the other one running to both the front area that we've done away with, and the wheelhouse lights, which we are going to clean up and redo. These alligator lights were green. And I was going to get them out, but I'm like, man, those are glued in there. And I just thought, well, you know what? I wonder if he painted those. And I put a little alcohol on there, and sure enough, it's coming right off. So we're going to scrub these, get this green off, and we're going to have proper alligator lights. Cleaned up Nemo. Got him actually holding the wheel now, and the wheel's actually square to the seat, you know, to the boat, so he's not driving sideways. I'm going to wait on the LEDs, but you can see I cleaned them up. We got clear edge now, which is pretty awesome. Well, he's got frost these, but we can do that from the outside if we need to. Although the inside would probably be smarter. I don't know. We'll figure that out. So now I'm going to jump onto the lower hull. And that's as easy as that. Just ran my bit, my Dremel with the cutting disc on there. This is clear acrylic with the plastic on, which is why it looks a little weird right now and frosty. But this is just going to slip right in there. I'll put a retaining set screw, top and bottom, and then you just you won't even see it. And then if I want to take it out it comes. Rudder extension completed. You can't even see it, can you? It's invisible, but it's right there. Can you see? Yeah, right there. So this is like triples the size of the rudder. 2 stainless steel set screws. Doop, 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 and then you can pull the whole thing out. So that should significantly help my turning performance. But now, the big thing, super huge thing. We need to put dive planes behind the prop because there is no control over the pitch with this crazy boat as it stands right now. Now, this is the same thing that I did with my original Nautilus that I scratch built a gajillion years ago. What I need to do is run an extension out on both sides to create a framework pivot arm right here that goes just in front of the rudder. And then run a linkage that will connect to this. So, I should actually think through this. So, if this rotates clockwise, the dive plane goes down, the boat goes up. So if it pushes underneath, the boat goes up. I'm just going to steal this right here. And then put this over here and make that go up like that, and this, and over here we're just going to put a rod, and then we're done. That's it. Dive planes. Center board. Just cut, formed, sanded. All ready to go. And this is what I came up with for the braces. Just notched out the ring, glued it in, and simple brass rod. So now what I got to do is feed these through and make a horn, a control horn that'll come down and will connect to the linkages things over there. All right, here we are. Look at that. We got dive planeage. Now, they're not super huge, but they're directly in the flow from the propeller. In my experience, this is about right. This should be okay. The big thing with the placement here, obviously, is it can potentially interfere with your rudderage situation. So you just got to make sure that there's no hitting going on. So we should be in good shape. We're running underneath. There's no interference with the proppage. Directly back through here, a little jigger jogger into the rear dive plane servo connector horn thing right there. So all we need to do now is grab the radio from upstairs, power this thing on, cycle the linkages here, and we'll see what sort of travel we get on this thing. I think we might be too much, but the good news is I can always drop it down a hole because I thought ahead. We got adjustability, and that's it right here as well, the adjustability. Got to make it so you can adjust these things, people. Loosen that off, you can spread these apart and make it good. So I'm going to go grab the radio and see what we got going on. So this thing is very glitchy in here. I don't know if it's just right where I'm at right now or what, but not super excited. But let's see if I can put the radio over here. If we go, might be a little bit too much throw, but when we transfer the new radio over, that'll be really, really easy to swap out, change. Holy, calm down, person. Yeesh. So that's my radio, right in there. Big old honkin' R168DF. So, what we're going to need to do is pop the top, drop the new receiver in there. So I think actually R9SX 900 megahertz right here. I think we'll be in good shape. Boy, I wonder how easy that is going to be to get off. Have to do some pryage in there. Maybe we'll just leave it for now. There's got to be like a light bulb in there that he was supposed to shine out here. I didn't see it on. Did you guys see it on? Let me turn on. I see no lights. This is where the lights are, people. Why are there no lights here? Okay, well, we'll get this figured out. We're getting there. We're almost there. Okay, I found the lights. I forgot. It's on a switch. Right here. So, no lights. Lights. A little weak. Can't really tell they're on. But you can see me. It's kind of cool. And I don't think that is a picture. That might actually be an actual little physical piece in there, but I really do want lights in the side here. You gotta have them, which means we're gonna be popping this off here somehow. But for now, it's Sunday morning, by the way. I just wanted to make sure I had time to work on the Nautilus. And I can't figure out, again, I got to swap the radio out because this is actually an emergency blow system. This is an air bladder. And when that little air pump kicks in, it sucks air from the dry compartment and blows it into the bag. And in theory, brings the boat back up. I guess you could also use it as like a little secondary trim system. Pretty cool. This is well engineered. It's got a big lead acid battery in there. You know, eventually it'd be good to throw like a, you know, kind of a monster nickel metal hydride pack or something, but for the sake of Subfest, we're done. Just gotta swap the radio out, get all that working, do the lights, paint it up. We're good to go. I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of my weekend. Here's our Subfest trailer, thanks to Sub Ed Tortle, being dropped off by Steve O'Connell. We'll talk to Steve here in a little bit. All right, so our trailer's here. Steve's come and gone. I didn't get any video in there. We got carried away and forgot. We did some horse trading. So that Virginia that you saw me build a little while back, I ended up buying that, and Steve ended up trading me. So now I've got, for anybody interested, a brand new, still in the original shipping box, DeBoer Seaview. Let me know if you want it. 58 inches long. It's a beautiful size. And an ultra super rare Doug Bagley Type 21 fiberglass kit. Absolutely gorgeous. The bar for a Type 21 with all the photo etch and everything from rcsubs.cz. It's good stuff. I'm going to need to tap out on this. It's going to just need to come as it is. What I've gone ahead and done, swapped in the R9SX 900 megahertzes radio and paired it to my personal X20S. So now I've got full and complete control out of this thing. The airbag that was in here was not functional. The switch and vent are not being activated by this. I don't know. I just did away with it. It's absolutely not needed because the boat's ballasted positively. It was just there for emergency. It was an emergency gas backup, but everything is still in place. So eventually when I have the time, or if I go to sell this thing, the new owner or myself can just crack into here and quickly check the micro switch and the vent, hook that all back up, and you know, it'll be working again. So I'm just putting this all back together again with all the bolts. And then we're going to be putting Captain back at the helm, putting it all back together again, do a quick test and trim in the pool, making sure it's somewhat close, and we'll be ready for Cohada. So 5 minutes ago we were in the shop, bench tested the boat, working perfectly, came outside to throw it in the pool for a final test, and now one of these servos is not working. See? Give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's something simple. Like maybe one of the leads to the pitch controller got disconnected. Turn it off. Turn it on. Do the old Microsoft reboot. No. Uh-oh. Servos are working. That's awesome, which means it's linkage and it's buried deep, deep, deep in the boat. Oh my god. That's exactly what we need, like 2 days before we need to be done. So here's the situation. Servos are working fine. Our servo replacement was stupendous. That was all Logan. From here to here is fine. That's all working fine. Somewhere in here, something has come disconnected. You know what? Power up the radio. Let's just take another quick look in here and make sure it wasn't like a horn that's come. What's going on now? Radio's on. Cycle of power. What the?
So this is a grand total of 15 seconds after we just tried earlier.
You guys saw it. I mean, it was working. I know what to do with it.
I mean, maybe it is just something.
Okay, I think we may have figured this out. The battery may be low. And if the battery is low, it may not like turning on, obviously. Okay, that's fine. We'll throw it on the charger and hope everything works out. This is what we're dealing with now. We'll zoom in. Can you see right there? That broken... So whoever built this originally, when they soldered that, didn't solder it very good. It was a dry solder, so we're going to just check and see if we're going to be able to repair this without completely and utterly dissecting the entire boat.
Not without melting this.
Melt the frickin' thing. So this is the plan. We're using this old school 30 watt nasty soldering iron that I had sitting in the back shelf there. Forget how spoiled you get having the gas-powered 70 watt torch. But with this extended tip, we can actually get in there and resolder that connection without burning everything around it. Or that's a theory. Well, I did it. Oh my heavens. Now I gotta clock this through the back there. But back where we started. That's exciting. But we gotta charge the batteries up, and that'll be a couple hours. So this is gonna get tested in the morning after we've had a good night's sleep and a couple cups of coffee. Otherwise, all right, it's Tuesday today, Tuesday morning. Couple things we're working on first thing in the morning. Logan is trying to knock out these characters so we can get that EFX Nautilus all done. Got the new stands for that right here. These are ones that I had designed, and I print these out in ABS plastic, so they're super strong. Thursday, when we are away delivering the plane to the new potential buyer for inspection, Logan is going to go over to Greg's house and he's going to knock out transport boxes and the wooden display base for the EFX. So hopefully over the course of the weekend, we can get that all boxed up, done, and ready to go out the door. First thing this morning though, I want to get this thing off my bench. So I just charged the batteries up. I don't know if it's working now or not. The linkage is repaired. That's all good. Let's fire it up, see if it works. Yeah. Radio. Oh, I guess I should plug the power in. That always helps. moved. Oh man. Nothing. Well, we've got throttle. We've got ballast. This is the exact same problem that we had last time.
With the current battery?
No, the servos aren't working. What the heck? Alright, I need to apologize to the boat. It was likely one of us that connected the wire wrong. So now we've got this stuff. Again. One of the wires was really loose. When I was pulling it out, it just came right out of the connector, which wasn't cool. Out at the top secret test facility with the Troublesome 212. Fingers are crossed, but hopes are high, expectations are low. Let's see what happens. And these are quick little boats. Oh, and it died. Oh, did it?
And it's getting pushed by a jet. I mean, I'd say we can replace the battery, but we'd have a hell of a time. Actually, I wonder, this thing's using, what is it? Well, it's using parallel connected batteries though, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if one or two of those batteries came loose or have found their way disconnected somehow. And because of that, it's only running like half potential voltage. Because this feels, I feel like I've seen it before. This is what it looks like when overdraw happens.
So the boat keeps cutting out, even at low throttle, which I'm wondering if the fuse is setting. There's an auto fuse in the switch. I want to see what kind of current this thing is drawing. So I've hooked up my watts up. We're going to check this and see what kind of amperage it's drawing. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Fire up the radio, fire up the boat. So we're at 12 volts, 0 amps. So in a quiescent state, we're drawing 0.18. It's up to about a half an amp, 0.6 for rudders. Okay, all right, okay, that's all good. .7 amps. And this boat is doing something weird too. In full reverse, it's fine. But if I go to full forward, I'm gonna go to full forward and take my hand off the stick. Stops. Now you go back to neutral, and now you can go forward again. So it is not current draw. That is the issue. Great. So, at this point, all I can think of is perhaps the switch. The remote switch, has a built-in 15 amp fuse. And it could be that the fuse aspect of the switch is bad or whatever. I'm just going to take it out. We're going to eliminate it from the issue altogether. I'm going to put a connector on there. We're going to connect it directly, and then we're going to see if that rectifies the issue. If it does not rectify the issue, then unfortunately it may be a situation where I am not going to be able to complete this boat before Subfest, because I have 3 customer boats, a bunch of stock, all of the preparation and paperwork and everything to get done previous, and that's where my priority is. Hiya! So, what's happening here is it's running perfectly until it's not running perfectly. Yeah. So, if I give her a little throttle, works good, we can steer, and then it stops. I've still got rudder, see? Dirt, 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 dirt. But the throttle's kicking out. And then it comes back on. And then it stops. And then it comes back on. And then it stops. So this is not overly exciting news because of the infinitely intelligent design of this submarine. The electronic speed controller is buried deep, deep, deep within the stern, and the entire equipment tray needs to be disconnected and in order to get to it. Yeah, now the throttle's not even working. I think it's a bum ESC. Every single component in this boat has failed. Servo, pitch controller, fail-safe, receiver. The only thing that's worked is the ballast system. Back on the bench. So you can see there's a bulkhead, gray bulkhead, that these servos are nestled up against. And the motor is in here, and the electronic speed controller is up here. So yeah, in order to get to it, all of this needs to get unbolted. There's 6 bolts. That all needs to come out, and then there's other bolts in there, and I don't even know if that is going to be able to come out because of this retaining ring that we now have in place. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, Howard's on Pacific time, so he's not even going to be out for another 2 hours or so. I need a win, because this day is not starting out well. We're going to tear in to this ultra super cool Gato, yank out that old radio, and see if we can get the bow planes working, and swap in that new X14 so we can get all of the channels working the way they should be working, and not backwards and sideways and all kinds of funkiness. So, time to remove 853 bolts and get access to the forward compartment. Got the lid off. It wasn't that bad. There's some pretty cool engineering in here. Let's take a look. So this is the forward compartment here. We have our on-off switch in here, and this is a charging port for the batteries. Now, what do we got going on here? Here's the servo. That's the linkage for the forward dive planes. Get out of here. There's the servo for the forward dive planes. The retract. It's rotary. Spins, moves the horn, pushes the horn, and then these go blop, 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 like that. The other neat thing about this is there's a micro switch, which is a disconnect to the dive planes. That's what they are, dive planes. I think these will only work if this switch is depressed, which means this is in the center position. So it's a forward dive plane lockout, all done mechanically and not electronically. Here is our receiver, and you can see it looks like channel 7 is open right now. So I don't know why the retracts were not plugged in. I'm going to grab my servo tester though, and we're going to check it and see if this linkage is all working. We got to figure out why it was disconnected. And then we're going to grab our new radio, start swapping things over, and see if we can get this thing brought into the 21st century. So not as super awesome as what I was hoping. This is the servo. This main power cable was spliced into that switch I was telling you about, cutoff switch, which was supposed to rub on here, but there was no arm to depress it. So really it wasn't doing anything. And there would have been no way for this to work. So I reconnected the power direct and I got it hooked it up, but unfortunately it's not working. So I got a hunch the reason they disconnected it and everything is because this servo went bad. So what I'm hoping is by removing this one single solitary bolt, I might be able to get this out, depending on how this linkage here is connected, which appears to be super glued. All right, this is the bow retract servo mechanism. Because we're going with the new radio, all of this is redundant. All of these micro switches and all of that stuff, what it does, those lockouts can all be done from the transmitter. We don't need them anymore. But I do want this bracket because it's the right size. So what we are going to do here is get rid of that bracket and get rid of that servo. See if we can save this thing, bracket, adapter, majigger, and then replace it with this servo. This is a little longer here than that, so I may need to drill another hole to mount it further back, but that should be pretty minor. Check this bad acidness out. And that's the new servo in place. This is exciting, man. Okay. Now we just gotta throw the radio in. Logan is putting in the R9M Pro 900 megahertz module into the FrSky X14 Twin. And we'll pair up the radio. Start swapping over all these things in here. So take a look at this. This is super cool. A little access hatch to get to your rudder linkages and your dive plane linkages. You just kind of push this in like this, and then there's a little rod that slides in place and locks it down. This is really cool. I gotta get back here. The air pump here operates off the same channel as this, and it's mechanically split here. So that's goofy. And for whatever reason, the air pump is working now, but the servo is not working. So I've got no dive planes. What I did, I went in here and I moved the control horn down one hole. And that's going to give me greater swing because this thing is really not moving a hell of a lot. The rudder's awesome though. That doesn't move any further. It's got good up but not down. I don't know. We'll see if we can massage this a little bit. But more bolts to take off. We're back out at the top secret test facility, and we are going to test trim test the big 70-inch Nautilus after the installation of the new radio and after the modifications to the wheelhouse, because now it's not sealed up there, it's all free flooding. So in theory, surface trim should have been unaffected. We're gonna have to see where it's at for submerged trim. So we didn't bring any trim stuff. We're probably gonna end up having to grab some. But let's go ahead, drop it in the water, and see what it does. So here she is floating in full surface trim. It's exactly where you want it, right above the salon blisters there. So what we're going to go ahead and do is turn it on. Radio's on. Now let's see what happens when she dives. Wow. it's absolutely and utterly perfect. Just the tip of the alligator eyes, the tip of the dorsal fin, and the tip of the tail. Perfectly level. So when we did this before, it would float much higher because there was all that trapped air in the wheelhouse. But now that that's gone away, we're in perfect trim. How did that work out? So I want to see, actually, what kind of an effect. So I got it resting up against the side of the spa. Oh, she's moving some water. That's at half throttle. So I'm gonna go down on the planes, or no, I'll go up on the planes and we'll see what she does. Oh yeah, that's got good pitch response. Do you see that? Oh yeah. Well, oh, you know, the intake for the air pump is in the top of the wheelhouse. I don't know that it has enough air in there. If I turn on the pump right now, yeah, it's just pulling air.
You mean water?
Hmm?
You mean water?
Yeah, pouring water. So we need to move the intake for the air maybe up into either into the top of the alligator eyes or the tip of the tail, or the tip of the dorsal fin. So what happens when you rush? You forget to do important things like hook the air hose up to the ballast tank. But it actually doesn't matter because we know where it's floating at submerged trim. The water line is here. We need to get the air intake above that. So, if we take a look at what we've got going on in here, you guys saw this before. We need to extend this out into the wheelhouse and up into the alligator eye. That's the highest point of the boat. So, if we can get this apart, this looks like it's just sleeved and it's actually loose. It's moving, so I can just get rid of this or extend this, and then just like that. If you make the sounds, it helps. All right, we're jumping all over the place here. Let's go back. We need to go chronologically. This is what we got going on here. So this is the top. You see the little, you can't see it. Oh yeah, that little brass thing. Once we paint it, you really won't see it. That's the new air intake. And it runs through this hose. And once I cut it to the proper length, it will connect to the original manifold and we'll have air. Done, like dinner. But back to Gato here. All sorts of goodies. There's a pitch controller that wasn't working. We should actually grab, you want to grab a pitch controller? Okay, Logan is off to get a pitch controller. Look at all the cool stuff in here. So we've got rear stern plane nidge going on here, and it gets split into this servo, which controls the airbag that you saw working earlier. I told you it was weird. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So here's the challenge, people. We're short a channel. We're short one channel on this 6-channel receiver that I've got in here. If we wanted to run this on its own channel, which I kind of do. I sort of do. Oh, there's like freaking random chunks of lead floating in here. Interesting. You go back over there. So what I think I'm going to do, because I've already got this set up, I'm just going to do away with this. I'm going to plug the pitch controller directly into this, and then the servo into that, and we're going to get planes working. Then we got to get creative with how we're going to control this thing. All right, we got everything all rigged up and it's all working. Actually, I haven't tested the rudder edge situation with the pitch controller edge. But I thought one interesting thing, there is on the rudder servo a toggle switch that only comes into play when the rudder is kinked all the way over. This is the rudder, and it gets turned on. We traced it, and it actually goes here to this, which is the lighting lead. So the lights turn on and off when the rudder is turned on. That's really weird. There's some weird things with this boat. I'm tempted to remove that switch. I mean, ideally you would just connect that directly to that, and then the lights would come on when you turn the power on. Anyhow, let's check something here. So if the boat dives, the servo turns clockwise, and if the servo turns clockwise, then the dive planes go down. Is that right? Oh, we don't want that. Clockwise. Pushes, and it goes down. Dang it! If the boat nose goes down, goes counterclockwise, and it goes up. Okay, this has to go like this. It's no big deal. It's not a big deal. This is why you check it. It would have been painful if we would have put the lid back on. Alright, getting closer. Alright, now we're going to check again. But it goes up, goes counterclockwise, it pulls on this, goes up. Down, down, yeah, yes. We're good. We're good. We're good. Whew, Wednesday. I did pretty good yesterday. I'm feeling a little better, and then this morning I got up at like 4. I was always up at 4. Got a couple hours in to get some Subfest stuff prepped, so I'm feeling better. What we need to do today, this morning, in the next hour, get the final hull fittings and connections done to button up Gato, because it's all done, all checked, everything is functional. We'll do final trimming at Subfest. I got no time to do it right now. Get that on, and then finish up our Subfest prep, and I've got a somewhat significant to-do list for that. But we got a whole bunch of boats in that I'm super excited about. Let's go check out what Logan's up to.
Controlled demolition.
So this is apparently, and I'm not seeing it yet, an OTW Type 7 hull that was actually donated by Bob Weigel up in New York. Good friend up there that I actually had a chance to meet in person when I went up to pick up that Seaview a little while ago. Look how he did an awesome job boxing that up. Look at the whole wooden frame and everything.
Frame is stapled along every rib. Nailed on each side. Thoroughly boxed.
Hey, and before I forget, hey, check out Logan's shirt. So this is not the event shirt. The gentleman that is doing ours is our shirts. Sent some extras in some different colors. There's red one and gray one for Logan and me, so you can tell us apart. But these are the shirts. Sage. Really nice, super soft. These are probably the best shirts that we've had so far. And actually, I'm wearing mine. Subfest 2024. Awesome. Feels really good. I lied to you. This one's not from Bob. This is one that I bought from a different gentleman. I think he's in Illinois. I can't remember. But anyhow, brand new OTW Type 7. You can see the photo etch in there. We're going to lay all this out, and it's going to get listed today. This is the one from Bob up in New York. We're going to get into that one in a minute. Jason's here, and look what he's doing. This is what we always wanted to do to this boat. Break it apart into a million pieces.
Yeah, I had to take out the Adapter ringy dealio to.
So basically,
Yeah,
all
what's wrong with it?
all the work that we did previously is down the drain, and now we are extracting. Let's take a closer look. Extracting through this gray bulkhead. That's what needs to come out. That gray bulkhead.
But I gotta get this out, the little inner dealy, and then I gotta chip away all the little CA that's in here for this stuff. Fully,
So how's that gray bulkhead held in?
it's just press fit in there.
Oh,
Like I can take this, like literally, like move it around if I have to.
okay. Well, I'll trust you.
So
Oh yeah, look at that.
it's just pressed in there. So this whole thing will pop out, but I'm not gonna have a whole lot of room.
Oh, it's going to need to come straight up because these studs are probably connected to that. Oh, so it's got to go straight
It's
back.
got to come out and like wrap around these wires, and it's going to give me about an inch and a half of room to see if I can.
Yeah. What an awesome design.
Yeah, I love it. Can't wait to get into it some more.
So Jason did it. This
Yay.
is what it looks like inside. So you can see that motor is mounted way deep inside there with zero access. And then the speed controller sits on a little ledge. Just like that. So this is I think it's a Hobbywing 1060. This is the old one. Roby Rookie 20. We'll see. So hook all that thing up and see if we can make it go. Bench test it. We should be able to bench test it and then see if it still does that full throttle cutout nonsense.
Yeah, which should be pretty easy. I got to do a couple connectors on here because it's got the
Oh yeah.
little pluggy bullet connector guys. So I have to.
Oh yeah, it's just a normal.
And then I'll have to cut this to feed the receiver.
What?
Or no, this is plugged into the pitch controller.
So that's interesting. So this was feeding power
That was into the pitch controller.
to the pitch. Oh, this is reverse sensing. So what it does is it reverses the pitch when you back up. Otherwise, what would happen? You back up and it's trying to correct pitch, and it would just make it even worse.
Drop you to the bottom, right?
So this gives you reverse, or it tells this to reverse the inputs. So
So
you just connect it
snip
to.
that and hot wired into here.
Yep.
And then put new bullets into, because this is power. And then there's two more in here somewhere. And then the other two go into, right here.
Yep. Precisely.
Okay, so I just need snip, bullet connectors, solder, dealio, clip, test.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
I'm on it.
All right. Testy time. This is what we got going on.
New wired, hooked.
We'll have to make sure we shrink this so it doesn't short when it. But that's all cool. All right. So obviously servos aren't hooked up yet to those. They're living over there somewhere. So we're going to test the speed controller. We got reverse.
That's pushing some air. I can feel it from here.
Oh yeah, that's twice as fast.
Easily.
Which I mean may not necessarily be what we want, but we can easily change that in the radio. The endpoints is working. Now we've just got to
Got some couple soldering issues we got to take care of.
look at this. What is this? Is that melted?
Looks like it.
Oh yeah, look at all that. Oh,
Starting to right here too.
what the heck?
You could pull. Yeah, this looks like
That's just
great.
poked, yeah. Are these 12? Oh no, these are wired in. I mean, it's still working.
It's not hot.
It's not hot. There's nothing down there in the middle, though. I wonder if it just got rubbed. Looks like it got jammed in there or something. Anyhow, we'll take a look, test it, make sure it's good. It might just have to be fine for Subfest. Keep an eye on it. And, all right. So just put that back together.
Yeah,
Just.
just.
So to open the boat up, swap out the speed controller, fight to get it back together again took 3.5 hours.
It's still not done.
It's still not done. We still gotta
Hook up plugs. And
do the power, do the linkages, and we need to redo the bayonet. But we got no more time today. So that's gonna have to be on the weekend, which is super exciting. The weekend, 2 days before Subfest. But it's not Howard's fault.
He bought it. I'm blaming him.
We sold it to him, technically. But we didn't break it.
No.
All right, so we're looking okay.
The gremlins didn't attack it that bad today.
Yeah. All right. This is worrying. All right, we're done. Out of here. So it is Thursday morning at 5:45 in the morning. Renee and I are on our way to the airport. We're going to crawl in the plane, fly it to Austin because I've got a potential buyer lined up. He wants to do pre-purchase inspection. So we're going to take off. This could be the last time I fly my airplane. Bittersweet. Planes are very, very, very expensive. We really weren't using it enough, and it's not big enough to transport the big subs. So maybe we'll be getting a bigger plane. I don't know. We'll see. But at any rate, Renee's up, getting ready, and ready to hop in the car. Apparently the airport is all enclosed in mist, so we're hoping by the time we get there, get loaded up pre-flight, some of that mist will dissipate and allow us to take off. We'll cross our fingers. Let's see what happens.
Hello, little froggy.
Hitched a ride all the way from the house to the airport. He's gonna miss his flight. So we're at the airport. It's, I don't know, what time is it? 7:30. The METAR is still saying IFR, but it looks awfully clearish for instrument flying. We're just gonna hop in. We'll see what Tower says. See if they'll let us go.
I've got a pre-flight drink.
Yeah, it should be fine. So here we are, Austin Executive, and the plane is back there getting dissected by a team of people looking for anything that might be wrong with it. I'm not worried. I'm not. It's been an awesome plane. Met the potential new buyer, Adam. I don't know if he'll get on the video here or not. Maybe he will. And we'll see how the day goes. Hopefully, within the next 5 or 6 hours, we'll have final answer and having some celebratory drinks tonight at dinner with Renee. What you doing, puppy? What you doing? Are you the supervisor? Are you the supervisor? So not awesome news. The buyer decided to pass on the plane. A couple of minor things they found, but basically didn't have any reserves to repair them, which is a little, it's up for a little bit of a rude awakening for aircraft ownership, if that's the case. But at any rate, I'm not concerned. Like, it's a big hardship for us to hang on to the plane and have fun flying in around. Renee and I are going to hang out here in Austin for a couple days, enjoy the weekend before all the stress of Subfest, and we're just going to have a good time. So I'm on my way back to make sure they button my plane up properly, and then grab an Uber and hook up with Renee. But that's probably going to wrap up this week's video. I told you the video was over, but I lied, because we had a super cool happenstance happen to the stance. And now we are just driving to the Gill Aviation FBO. I'm going to pull up in front because there's no parking back here. I bought an OTW S-Class from a customer in Florida, and originally I was going to pick it up after Subfest. That wasn't going to work, so told him let's just ship it UPS. He brought it to UPS. The UPS store was absolutely ignorant to him and would not ship it. But as it happened, the person standing behind him is the captain of a private jet, and heard how UPS treated him and said, that's ridiculous. He's like, I happen to be flying tomorrow to Spring, Texas. I will bring it in the private jet, put it in the aisle, and you won't have to pay anything. It's like, I think this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and I want to be part of it. So he just dropped it off yesterday. we're gonna loop around here, pull up to the FBO, and grab it. We'll see what we got. So, faith in humanity has been restored. We got a gigantic 7-foot S-class submarine in the back of our little SUV, and it all looks like it's in one piece. We'll find out for sure once we unwrap it tomorrow. But yeah, faith in humanity restored. This guy could have just been like, I'm not actually going to Texas. I'm going to like Detroit, and I got myself a submarine. But he didn't. Shout out to Derek for making this happen. Thank you so much. And shout out to Jim and his son who did all the running around in Florida to deliver the sub to the airport, get it on the plane, and make that all happen. So that is cool. That is where this video is gonna end off.